again, I didn't come from much. I went to college, kinda. I gave it like the college try for a few years. Realized I like school just wasn't for me. I tried every different type of class. Did not know what I wanted to do. Luckily, like nutrition industry was great. Loved helping people, and like kind of stumbled into this. Like my body of work is like a bit of like an amalgamation of all the people that have invested time like in me. Matt Morgan, guys like Kyle Huber, guys like Eric Rubens, like Chris Burkard giving me a little bit of insight here and there. Like these are all people that have helped me figure out the way. And then a lot of it's just been sheer will of learning how to do things.
Shade isn't a place you hide. It's where you pause, where you think, where real work happens. Quietly, creatively, and authentically. No slides, no filters. Just candid conversation about a story worth telling. It's not about villains. This is where brand builders, creatives, and storytellers come to share the stories they usually don't tell in pitch decks or press releases. It's about the people who work behind the scenes, challenge the obvious, bend the rules, or build unforgettable brands. This is
Shady Characters.
Today on the show, we've got Seth Willingham. Seth Willingham, also known as
Water Project.
Thank you.
And Seth's been a content creator and a pretty prolific drone pilot now for a decade, and just an all around amazing human and a great guy and a good friend. And honored to have you on the show today. Thanks for coming.
Cool. Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here.
So let's talk about 10 years. You've been flying now for 10 plus years, right?
Yeah.
I mean, 10 plus years ago, the systems were not as advanced as they are now. It was a little more of the Wild West back then.
Yeah.
What attracted you to wanting to invest and learn these systems and learn these programs and become a drone pilot?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, like backstory is just quick for me is I grew up in Hawaii. I grew up in California. Mom and dad split when I was a kid. Spent a ton of time in two cool areas. I was in Hawaii all summer, all winter, and just around the ocean. Obviously, just kind of having a bit of Hawaiian heritage, have like immense love for the ocean, always diving. When GoPros became kind of a viable thing where, you didn't have to buy a $5,000, $10,000 underwater camera setup, I kind of became very obsessed with diving with GoPros, whether it was swimming with sharks or capturing waves, capturing my friends surfing, and, loved capturing that coastline. And yeah, about, 11 years ago, drones became again a thing. I mean, there were a bit more archaic versions or very expensive versions, but when like DJI started releasing more kind of consumer,
stuff,
the Phantoms. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the first one I flew, like you actually put a GoPro on it. But yeah. When I saw drone footage, especially like started showing up on Instagram and things like that, it was very amazing to see because you're like, oh, I grew up in Laguna Beach, and to now see these awesome aerials, like it just makes you appreciate, I think, landscape so much more. So I started falling in love with that, and then a friend actually got a drone, and he wasn't using it. He's like, "Hey, man, do you want to use this thing?" Mm-hmm. And I was like, on the fence about buying one. Do I want to spend $2,000 or $1,500, whatever they cost at the time? And he was like, "Dude, just take this." And so, I mean, shout out to my buddy Derek Angula. He basically gave me a drone. Give this a shot. And I like within a month, I was like, hey, I'm going to buy this from you. And he was, no. And I'm like, dude, I'm paying you for this. I'm going to use this. Mm-hmm. So I got it. Luckily, he essentially gave me a drone, started flying it, fell in love with it.
What was the first one?
It might have been like a Phantom 1 or something like that. Or again, it might, I don't remember exactly what it was called, but yeah, it was the Phantom, the big white one, which I actually like. It was easier to catch. It was easier to like fly often.
It had like the big landing
gear.
Yeah.
It was easy. Like I'd fly it from a boat. Like I fly a Mavic now, which is like terrifying sometimes when you're on a boat, like because you're so close to the props. Like yeah. I feel like a total nerd, but like I'll wear gloves now because I've been cut a few times. But the Phantoms were amazing. But got that drone, flew a bunch, started taking pictures. I think I was doing Water Project, like that's my separate Instagram at the time. I just had a personal Instagram, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start uploading all my GoPro stuff to. I came up with the name Water Project. There's nothing crazy meaning behind it. It's just involving shooting the ocean, I guess.
Did you start that with the drones? Because I'll be honest, I don't even know if you remember. Yeah. I met you probably 10 years ago.
No, I don't know if I do.
When I was at Oloclip.
Oh, and you came in, okay.
And it was through the guys at the Brand Amp.
Yeah,
and
okay.
And we were trying to put Oloclip lenses on drones.
Okay.
And you were the guy that we were talking to.
Okay.
And I never made that connection with you. But
through Charlie.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Through Charlie, yeah.
Good to know. Yeah, no, my initial stuff, if you go like way back on my feed, it's just all in water drone, or sorry, in water kind of underwater GoPro stuff. And then I started posting stuff with drones, and then my account started growing like crazy because not a lot of drone pictures out there. And, you know, at the time I worked in like the nutrition industry. So, you know, out of college, even out of high school, I started in the nutrition industry, like selling supplements, working like in health and wellness. And then my account started taking off, and, you know, people started reaching out about, hey, can you please come to Laguna Beach to shoot drone stuff of our city, or, you know, come to Newport Beach and shoot drones. And so I started doing like a little side gig, probably undercharging, because I was like, whatever, it's like funny money.
You fit our budget.
Yeah, you fit our, I was like, whatever, yeah, I'll come out and shoot.
Which I think at that point was, hey, here's some gear.
Yeah.
Can we try it?
Yeah, totally. So, you know, yeah, I was able to get some cool stuff. The account started growing. I wasn't trying to do that. I was just posting stuff. And I think because drone, you know, photos and videos weren't, you know, they weren't all over the place. Like, yeah, my account started doing well and growing. And then, you know, meeting a few friends, you know, in kind of the Instagram world. I literally went to like Instagram meetups of like people I looked up to. I was like, I just love your photography. And now there's some of my best friends. I literally went to like, you know, the core days of Instagram, when it was maybe more about linking people up and creating like a bit more of a, you know, creative community. Some of those guys, one's Eric Rubens. I remember he had like an Instagram meetup in San Diego. Another guy was Kyle Huber. He's like an amazing creative out of...
That guy's awesome.
Yeah, he's amazing. And two of my best friends nowadays. And I literally met him at Instagram meetups. And then through that, you know, Kyle early on didn't have a drone and brought me he kind of took me under his wing and brought me as like as a drone operator on his whatever job he was on.
Yeah.
So he gave me very early exposure. He was always like very good about paying me well. Like if he got a good payday, he would pay me, and it was great. It was like really good learning experience, very good crash course. And then, you know, after a few years, I'm like, I think this could be a thing, you know, where if I put a little bit more time and effort into it, you know, it could be a job or a second job or, you know, whatever I want to do with that. So.
And at this point, is this a full-time job?
Yeah, this is what I do full time.
Yeah.
So I was in the nutrition industry forever. You know,
I remember when I met you, you owned a GNC, I think, right?
It's called Nutrition Zone. It was like a wholesale GNC.
Yeah.
Oh, you actually owned you had like a franchise?
I did,
store?
yeah.
Oh, right.
I mean, I worked at corporate forever, like literally 10 years. And then with Derek, actually, the guy who gave me the drone.
Yep. We know Derek. We love Derek.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah.
So with Derek, you know, we ended up buying a franchise in Laguna Hills. And I know Derek from like back... like at just church, like he was a few years younger than me, so I might have even been like a leader in like the high school groups and when he was in high school. So Derek and I kind of go way back, even before the drone stuff. But yeah, we owned a store for a little bit and we sold it in 2019. At that point, we had just had our kid Noah, and I'm juggling like water projects growing, but I also run a store. And, you know, it came to a breaking point because every time I was taking off work for water projects, it's like I'm paying my employees double, and like the store is now not becoming profitable. I was like, you know, one thing's got to go. Either the store, either water project.
What makes me happy? What doesn't make me happy? That's pretty much it, right?
Yeah, and I think I was like, am I going to do this forever? You know, am I going to do this store? Am I going to run this? And we sold the store, and like, thank God, like literally, like praise
COVID,
God.
right?
COVID happens like 6 months later, you know, and that could have been just like financially wrecked us, right? Yeah. So it ended up being great. It felt like it was a great sign, you know, just from the Lord, like, yo, you're on the right path. And I started, and a business had picked up, then COVID hits, right? So, yeah, there's like that whole thing happens. But it ended up taking a break and ended up working at an agency up in Costa Mesa for a little bit.
Yeah, the brand. You actually worked with Charlie there, right?
Yeah, worked with Charlie. And now I'm back doing just full-time, like as of a little over a year ago, went back to full-time content creation and drone operation. I mean, half the time when I work with a brand, they want me to post on my Instagram. They want me to also capture content for them and license content. Half the time I'm just a drone operator on a shoot, whether it's capturing content for a car company or whatever it may be. But yeah, I'm doing it full time, and it's been, last year was like my busiest year ever, and did not expect that. It's nice to jump, you know, full head into like something, and you know, it actually work out. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think for myself, having followed your page for so long, I've always loved so much of the content, but the shoots that we've gotten to bring you on, some of my favorite shots out of those shoots have come from your lens, and it's just so cool to see. I feel like now drones have been around long enough, and they got so popular for a while, and then because they were unregulated, and then there was kind of this differentiation that happened between regulations are starting to happen. They're starting to figure out how to police these things a little bit better. They're starting to educate pilots on how to do this more properly. And you saw this divide between people that actually took this seriously and people that remained hobbyists. And so for yourself, you were like, no, I'm diving into this. I'm digging in. I see a future here. And I guess where I'm going is at that point, it felt like there was almost this drone content fatigue. And it felt like, every kid had a drone and they were just posting random drone clips.
Even I have a drone.
Yeah, yeah. And so one of the things that I'm alluding to here is that your stuff never felt like it was just the status quo stale thing. You've always had the ability to kind of elevate, and it has always felt like water project shots are just like another level, and it's always left me like inspired as like, dude, how did you get that? And I think a lot of it is just you've got a really natural creative talent when it comes to this. And anyways, I'm inspired by the shots that I see on your page, and it never fails to like, it's always eye-catching. It's always a finger stop, a scroll stop, which I think in our industry obviously is a big important thing, man. And you do a great job at that.
Cool, thank you. That means a lot. I mean, I really appreciate it. I try to get amazing shots. Luckily, I have I'm like cursed and blessed with some ADHD, and meaning like I have a immense ability to like focus hard on something, and I also am very scatterbrained at the same time. And like even when I'm on a job, it's like, I get good shots, at least in my eyes. I like shooting very colorful stuff. I like shooting very happy things. But it's just going like hard every day. I'm capture every sunrise, capture every sunset. Even locally, it's like I'm always keeping my eye on the weather. And 9 times out of 10, it doesn't work out. But every once in a while, like it does, and it's really it's worth it,
Yeah.
And I like doing it. Luckily, it's work, but it doesn't like feel like work. Like it's a good, especially all the stuff I shoot. It's very coastal. It's like worst case scenario, I go down to the beach and I watch whatever sunset happens. And it's still good for the soul. So I'm excited about either way.
I think, and Evan was kind of touching on this. It's like there's a lot of people that have drones. Like I said, I have a drone, but it's more than that with you. And I think with you end up. It's about the same as photography. Everyone has an iPhone. I mean, you have a pretty decent camera, but you have to have the eye to be in the right place at the right time. But then there's also the post-production. I'm sure what comes out of that camera, there's a post-production process. Are there special tools, or what do you do once that picture's taken? Because I think that's a big part of it as well, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't do the craziest. I'm not the best at editing by any means, like in terms of the software that I use. Like I use Lightroom. I think I've opened Photoshop like twice. Like I'm just like, I still need to learn. Like I even just preach like learning new things. So it's like, I'll get in there every once in a while. And then like I use Final Cut Pro, like, and I know there's
standard tools.
Yeah. I know there's guys like crushing it with like DaVinci, and I see the kind of things and colors and things that people are able to pull out on that. And it's like, it's amazing. But yeah, for me, I guess the most important thing is capturing the best initial image, and just making sure, again, for me, I like colors, I like a little bit of action, I like waves crashing, whatever that might be, is try to get the best initial image as possible. And then, I mean, my colors, I'll definitely nuke some of them up, and I like things looking very colorful, but it's like I'm not tweaking stuff too much, like, because there's only so much you can really do, like in Final Cut, or at least the way I edit. So it's like I try to just get the best initial shot possible, and pump some of the saturation and stuff like that, just to make it kind of fit at least my standard. Yeah, and if people like it, great.
Do you know at this point when so you're watching the weather, and this is kind of a thankless job in a way, because you're to get the optimal light conditions, you're out there pre-sunrise, you're out there post-sunset, so you're kind of working the opposite ends of that spectrum, and you're watching the weather. The night before, you go, I think tomorrow morning is going to be amazing. You get up, do you look out the window and you can already tell, like, yes, this is going to be a banger day and I got to get to the beach quick? Or do you inevitably, it's still dark out, I'm still getting dressed, I'm driving down there, and you just kind of sit and wait and see if it happens? Or how does that process work for you?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, sunrise, and you know, even on the weather side, I'm not like the best weather guy. Like I have some friends that can like read forecasts and be like, yo, sunrise is should be good tomorrow.
Yeah.
There's high clouds or whatever. Sunrise is like a full mission. Like, you know, usually the best ones I've had is a few of us buddies are like, let's meet in San Clemente, let's meet wherever, you know, we're going to get there 30 minutes before. Cause to wake up for sunrise, you have no idea how the skyline's not like sunset. You can at least see clouds forming. I can hop on Surfline and look at like literally cameras and see if there's any cloud coverage along the horizon. That's a lot easier. Sunrise is, it's tough. You basically just need to commit to the mission, and half the time it doesn't work out. But when it works out, it's the most satisfying because you're like, I woke up at 5:30. I never do that personally. You know, unless I'm flying or I have to leave or something like that. And I got to the beach even like, and when you start to see those like pre-colors forming from when the sun's rising, it's super special. Some of my best stuff is like, I literally, you know, I post it all the time, but from San Clemente, just, I can vividly remember this sunrise that it went, it exploded, it stopped. You're like, okay, great. And then it came back again. It was like 360 in every direction. Half the time I post it, people probably think it's a sunset, but it was like a really good sunrise that just felt insane. But yeah, so got to commit to the mission for sunrise. Sunset's easier, you know, in my opinion.
Do you know when your drone is up there, like, and you're flying and you're looking through the thing, like, oh my God, it's like, you know, immediately? Or is it like you get home, you put it in Lightroom, you make some adjustments and you're like, oh yeah, it worked? Or do you pretty much know at this point?
No, for me, it's in the moment. I think because I just, again, for me, it's about capturing those initial colors as best as possible, like in the camera, and then you can tweak them from there. But, you know, very rarely on my feed, you're not gonna see something colorful or dreamy that came from something that was like super flat, like where I'm having to do too much work on it. I mean, in camera, you're getting excited like as you're shooting. You know, and with the drone, because you're able to cover so much ground in such a short amount of time, it's not like shooting from the ground where you're literally having to run around. Like I could fly a few square miles in like 5 minutes. So you're able to just get so many different angles, so many different shots. It feels like hours worth of work in, you know, a 20-minute flight.
It's ironic that you guys are talking about all this color, because the favorite thing I see you guys shooting is in black and white.
What do you mean?
The orcas.
The orcas, yeah. Those are amazing to see. Yes, I wish I had more orca stuff, but yeah.
How do you know when you're? I mean, if I'm standing on the beach, unless I'm in from an elevated vantage point, I can't really see if there's whales out there that easily, right? Yeah, but when you fly out there with a drone and you're finding them, are you spotting them from the land, or are you just kind of flying camera pointed straight down, like, oh, there's one, move in?
90% of the time, we're on a boat. Like I go out with my buddy Charlie. He's amazing. He's always good about inviting me out on the boat. He's a sucker for whales and getting whale stuff. And
can I call that guy out on this show real quick? I've been asking him for a decade to take me out on that boat. even when he was a client of mine, or even when I was his client.
Okay. That's funny. Charlie still never took me on the boat. Dude. You owe Tim some time on the boat.
Hey, I wasn't going to tell you. I'm going out with Charlie on the boat on Friday.
I thought you already
He said
went.
There's only room for one more, though. Sorry.
We're actually all going. It's funny. He said, don't invite you, which was like,
I don't care. We got an extra spot, Charlie. Who should we take? Anyone but Tim.
Anyone but Tim, dude. But yeah, kind of back to the whales. There's pretty much only one whale, maybe two, that you can see from the land. Here, at least, is gray whales. During gray whale season,
because they come in close to the shore, right?
Yeah, pay attention to like locally Dana Wharf or whatever the whale watching boats are out of there, and they'll kind of let you know when they're starting to show up. But when they come from Mexico to Alaska, they're usually bringing a baby with them, and with that, they'll hug the coastline, and they seem like they have like systematically like stops. Like it almost seems like they're teaching the baby like, hey, here's Dana Point.
Yeah.
Here's Laguna Beach.
They're
You know, hey,
sightseeing
like
on the
a
way.
It's like a tour.
It's like a tour, but I think it's also
This is
just
where you were
like,
conceived.
I think this is the route home, you know, and they keep them pretty close to shore because that's not where orcas are.
Yep.
Right. That's not where predators usually are, and they feed. You know, I think gray whales feed by sucking in sand and sifting it out and sifting out all the crustaceans. It's a little bit different than blue whales or other whales that like feed on plankton. But those you can see from the sea. I've literally like been in the water and like a whale's popped up like 30 feet from me at 10th Street. It's and during that kind of crunch time when they're going from Mexico to Alaska, you can go down to a Laguna Beach bluff and hang out there. And, you know, if you hang out for a few hours, you'll probably see one. You know, keep your eyes on the whale watching boats because if you see them coming up the coast, chances are they're following something. Yeah. So those you can launch from land. And then the rest is like you're out on a boat. Half the time it doesn't work out.
I was gonna say, tell me some experiences on the boat because I've never been invited.
Yeah.
I would love to know what that
Tim's
actually is.
never been on a boat.
Yeah,
before.
never been on a boat.
I'm afraid of the water.
Yeah, I mean, being on the boat, there's a company out of Newport called Newport Coastal Adventure. They're the ones I like going out with the most, just because they have like these modified military boats that are fast. There's no like bathrooms on them. They're not like, again, crazy big or crazy comfortable, but it's like they go fast. You cover a lot of ground in a very short amount of time. I believe the owner's name is Ryan. He's like amazing with finding the whales, and he usually has like 3 or 4 boats in the water at different places, all communicating to each other. If they do get on a whale, this is our coordinates. Please come here. You know, probably more than 50 or 60% of the time we get on something if it's out there. A lot of times, you know, if I'm going out with Charlie or something like that, we'll go out first thing in the morning. So we are the kind of guinea pigs. We are trying to like send it, find orcas, find the blue whale that someone saw yesterday. And so those are like, we go into that knowing, you know, I don't know if we're going to see anything, but if you do, it's very satisfying because there's no other boats there. You're nothing else is bothering the animal. You're able to observe it in a really cool way, and seeing it from the drone, because, you know, I've seen whales hundreds, if not thousands of times, and I've seen maybe 3 breaches. So it's like they spend, you know, the majority of their bodies underwater, and when you fly a drone over them, it reveals so much. It's probably like one of the best use cases for a drone because you're able to see so much of the animal and appreciate
see how big they are.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, you appreciate like its glory. Every once in a while, it might, you know, they have pretty strict rules. Like if you're near a whale, you turn the engines off. You're not really allowed to approach it or cut off its path. But every once in a while, like
when you're there by yourself, who's there to enforce it? Right?
No, it's not that.
Is the TSA guy going to show up?
No, yeah, he could.
TSA guy pulls up out there real quick.
I think it's more like sometimes you'll get a whale that's curious that will come to you, you know, and it'll come and like mug your boat for a little, and just feels just like what just happened.
Is it frightening? Because I've seen some orca stuff where they're like, you guys are sticking like GoPros on sticks in the water.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in hindsight, one could, you know, tail flip or breach on a boat, but they're so intuitive. Like I feel like if you're out there with whales, like if you've ever swam with dolphins or seen, like you could just see how smart they are.
I've swam with dolphins, but never a whale.
Yeah, you can just see how smart they are and how intuitive they are, and I feel like they can also, like many animals, like see that you're good also, like if you have good intentions.
Do you have a favorite story or moment that you captured?
No, I mean, I love them all. I mean, I've gotten some cool stuff of orcas actually just here. And if you ever see, like, if you want to see orcas, they come through maybe once or twice a year, but it's very rare, and they're here for like a day. They're transient orcas, so they'll usually come through and just like crush our dolphin population and then you move along. Like they don't have a home, so they're just swimming around. But if you see it, it's usually like...
They're like the coyotes of the sea?
Yeah. You'll kind of hear like San Diego say, hey, we had orcas, and last we saw them, they were moving north. And then that would be, if you want to see them, you should go out on a boat here in Dana Point in hopes... That maybe there's a 10% chance, 15% chance that you're going to see them. Like chances are they're moving up, right? But if they're around, it's like literally for a day or two. Like very rare do they linger around. But yeah, seeing orcas is amazing, especially here because even before I had seen them on a drone, I didn't even know they came through here. You know, but now with like Instagram and stuff, you can see that people see them. So yeah, seeing orcas is always cool. And then I think humpbacks are the best. They're the coolest whales. They look the coolest. They are the most active. They'll throw their tails out of the water. I just got a ton of amazing content of them in Maui recently, and they're super active over there. And, you know, diving underwater, you can hear them like singing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and they have I think there's hundreds and hundreds of them in a very kind of tight space. in Maui between like a few islands, just again with their babies, kind of teaching them, I think, just like initial ways of life. But it's they're very active and they're very playful and they're cool to see. Like gray whales, which are the ones that come kind of close to the ocean, or sorry, close to the sand as they kind of swim up. They're not as cool looking. Like they look like an everything bagel. Like their skin looks weird. They got barnacles everywhere. They're not jumping out of the water, but it's still very
They're
cool.
just really lazy.
Yeah, they're just lazy. Yeah.
Sorry, are you able to do anything with the content that you capture? Can you sell that to like a National Geographic, a local news station? Like, is there a way to monetize that for you?
It probably is. I guess I've never tried, and I haven't really cared to do it. I mean, I'll
Do you
give
need
it to
a business manager? No.
Yeah, sure. I know I have terabytes worth of just drone stuff that's sitting around. It's almost like, it's like a mountain of stuff that like it would take me days or weeks or months to just go through. But I have a lot of footage in 4K and 6K that's kind of just sitting there. No one owns it, but me.
Yeah.
So yeah, if anyone wants it,
I think it's even like that, like to your point, like when the orcas are coming through, if you're out there and I don't know if the local news pays for that kind of content. Yeah. It's like, hey guys, I have beautiful clips. Sure. If you want to like let people know the orcas are.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good thought. I need to spend more time on that. Anytime I've had news reach out to me for some stuff, but it's literally always like, we'll feature it and put your like handle. I think I've even been on the news for that, but it's I don't know who pays attention to that. It's not like I got a bunch of posts. Back in the day on Instagram, if you got featured on a big page, it was a big deal. Like I think like Beautiful Destinations had posted my stuff once, and I remember like opening my Instagram and having thousands of new followers. Now I'll get a feature somewhere and it's like 5 new followers. So I don't know what the algorithm has done, or maybe people are like just a little more desensitized because there's so much beautiful stuff out there.
Yeah, like back in like the Art of Visuals era when those guys were in their heyday. Yeah. And the one that Charlie, the color, Art of like the color or something or other.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Color Story.
Yeah. If they were to like feature you, it would help out, a lot. Like, and I think there's just so much beautiful stuff out there, and a lot of people make really good stuff. So maybe people are just desensitized to beautiful things.
Maybe they all already follow you.
Yeah, maybe there's that too. Yeah, yeah.
Do you have any good stories? Have you ever lost a drone?
I haven't lost a drone. I haven't crashed a drone ever until recently. Shout out again to my buddy Eric Rubens. We were in Australia. I feel like such a jackass for this, but we were flying. We're on an island called Kangaroo Island. It's like in the middle of nowhere. You might remember it like. It's kind of a sad story, but a few years ago they had those crazy wildfires.
Oh yeah,
all the koalas are burning. And that was on. It wasn't on like Australia proper. It was on Kangaroo Island, which is like an amazing ecosystem that luckily now you can barely tell that there was a fire there. So much has grown back, but so we're there. I mean, it's just like there's nothing around. And we're in the middle of a field with a bunch of sheep, and there's also nothing around. And he had taken off his drone and flown like around the corner. It was like out of my sight. And he gave his drone back to me, Mavic 4 Pro, and I'm flying it back, and all of a sudden I like hit something, and I'm like, I think I hit a bird, and it was like enough, like the gimbal was like all torqued out, but I was able to fly back, and then I'm like, dude, I think a bird hit your drone, and then we reviewed the footage, and there was a thin wire. Like just an energy, like a wire running across this like
big open field.
20. I'm like, what are the odds?
Yeah.
So that's the only time I've ever even like crashed into anything. Luckily, I've never lost a drone. Like I hear stories of it. I'm a pretty safe flyer. Like I'm not trying to push my drone to like 10% battery and fly back. It's like I usually bring it back soon. I usually, you always want to have like line of sight on your drone and stuff like that. Otherwise, it's a pretty expensive problem to have,
I remember early on, the flight times were so limited. It's like, and now you can fly for 30, 40 minutes, but like early on, you would get to 10% battery in no time. By the time you made it to your destination to shoot, you're like, I got to start bringing the thing back.
It's got a range of 2 miles. Yeah, but you'll never make it back.
Yeah. And if the wind's bad and if you're pushing it, and like there's a ton of factors, like,
or if you're on a boat and the boat has moved,
luckily, and that's another scary thing about the boat is luckily I've never had to do like return to home. But if you do that on a boat, like it thinks your home is
it's
a
gonna
mile
drop
away.
it in the middle of the water.
But it seems like every year they release a drone. It's like the stuff's. I've definitely been flying towards something and it's stopped, like a tree or something. It'll stop as long as you have those sensors activated. Sometimes I'll turn those off if I need to fly in close proximity, like split some palm trees or fly through a car or something. It's like you do have to turn those off.
I was going to ask, do you do FPV stuff as well?
I don't do FPV. Yeah, I'll do some. There's kind of FPV modes on the drone I have, but I don't like do the crazy FPV.
But you could fly through a car though. You're like,
yeah, with like a smaller drone. Like it's a tight window to fly through, but yeah, you can do it. FPV would be better for that. Like, and those FPV Violets are just crazy, and they're really good ones. I mean, I guess you can get like the base model from DJI, which is
the Avata.
Yeah, I'd call it like an FPV light, but the real guys that are doing it, there's a few like heavy hitters out there. There's a guy named Patty Mack out of Laguna Beach who's amazing. They build their drones. Like they are hobbyists. Like you need to know how to, hey, if a motor goes out, like, I mean, he'll open up a case and he's got all the stuff that he needs.
Fix it on
Yeah, because some of not that they crash a lot, but they do fly really crazy stuff where if they do crash, it's not like the end of the shoot. It's like, hey, give me 30 minutes. Let me rebuild my drone real fast. On top of having multiple drones. But yeah.
I remember my first drone. It was a DJI product, but this is pre-Phantom. It was called the F550 Flame Wheel. It was a hexacopter, so it had 6.
Okay.
But it was that type of deal where you would buy the frame from DJI. They didn't even have a 3-axis gimbal at the time. There was a company in the UK that made a 2-axis gimbal, and it was kind of it was just a cage for a GoPro.
Could just go up and down type of thing.
Yeah, and so it was a cage for a GoPro. So you'd put a GoPro in there. It's this little carbon fiber cage that you'd kind of
you basically just turn the GoPro on.
You would turn the GoPro on
and fly.
And there was a way to monitor, but it wasn't very good, because essentially you're taking this flame wheel chassis and you're picking, okay, it needs these motors. You've got to solder the things. It's not even quick connect points. So you are picking all those components, kind of like if you were building a custom car. You're picking the drivetrain and the motor, and you're doing all of those things. But it was sketchy. Like those were times where the
early drone days are sketchy. And I remember I had some companies even send me some of their drones, and I flew them once, and I was like, no. It was a hexacopter. I was like, dude, this thing's massive.
Yeah.
Not like as drones were getting smaller, you're like, this feels sketch.
Well, I remember it was a big deal to have a hex because they said these motors would go out fairly frequently, and at least if you still had 5, you could land it. But if you're in a quad and one of those goes, that thing wants to flip, and so you didn't have enough to like be able to bring it down in a quad. So like you got to get the hex almost for the redundancy of like having enough props that you could still get the thing out of the sky safely if one of those motors, something happened to it. Yeah. But yeah, man, we've come a long ways in a decade or 15 years now since this stuff.
It really is amazing. Like what you're able to do with these things. Yeah. I'm obviously a big fan. I love it. I'll hopefully just, be doing it forever. It's brought me around the world. Like I never thought I would be able to travel the world. I grew up very poor. I grew up in low-income housing. I grew up with a single, with my mom. I remember, and my wife, luckily, she's the dreamer. I've been married for whatever 15, 16 years now, and we traveled very early on, but it was always her pushing us. It was like, let's go. I remember we went to Tahiti because there was some like crazy deal on like Living Social or whatever the cheap website was, and we went there. I was like, wow, that's the only time I'll ever go there. And I remember we went to Europe, and it was like, this is the only time we're going to go to Europe in our lifetime. Yeah. So like, it started with Italy, and then we're like, ooh, like we should go to Iceland. Like she was like, I think Iceland's a cool thing. This was like 10 years ago when Iceland wasn't everywhere. I was like, yeah, Iceland does look cool. I see like someone I admire, Chris Burkard, post.
Another Olo Clip guy.
Yeah. Yeah, really? And he's a good friend now. He's like a friend.
Me too. Yeah,
like, and I remember just someone I admired, and I even DM'd him and asked him a bunch of questions about all the places, and
he's pretty responsive with that
stuff,
stuff, right?
Yeah, he was really responsive. Or maybe it was an email, and he wrote back like, "Here's how you get there. It's very easy." And then so it's like our trip started with like, we're going to Italy. Okay, actually we're going to go to Italy and Iceland, and then I was like, hey, we're there in September. It's Oktoberfest.
Let's go to
that looks cool. So let's go to Munich. Yeah, so I remember like we're literally like have all our stuff in a backpack, and we're packing for 3 different climates. It's like super hot Italy, like medium temp, Germany, and then like very cold and super all over the place
Arctic
weather.
Iceland.
Yeah, Iceland. So I was like, but But I'm like, this is the only time we're going to be over here. It's easy to get around once you're here. And now that I look back, it's like I'm able to travel 5 or 6 times a year to really cool places, all because of like the drone. The drone has
do you
brought
have
me.
a favorite spot?
Yeah, I mean, it probably falls into, so like I love obviously tropical stuff. I love going to Hawaii. I've gotten some really amazing stuff in Turks and Caicos, and you know, Suze and I, when she was actually pregnant with our son Noah, we went to this place called Foul Key in Exumas in the Bahamas, and that was a really cool experience. It's like it's under the Beaches and Sandals umbrella. It's a private island. There's like 6 villas, and each villa comes with your own boat. They give you a boat. With unlimited gas, and I'm like, dude, I've never driven a boat before. Are you sure you want to do this? But
what are you gonna hit?
Yeah,
there's no one else.
It was very easy to get around. It's like
There was that one random power line though in the middle of the
one
water.
power line.
Just went
But
I hope you didn't take Charlie on that boat.
I did not. Yeah, but it was so cool to just be like, here's your boat. Like dinner's at 6. Do whatever you want, and you know, we were able to be like, hey, it's low tide. Let's go find a random sandbar that no one knows about, or let's go. I was able just to throw anchor wherever and go snorkeling. No one's around. Cool. Yeah, it was really so that was a really cool experience. And then I've randomly been going to like Alaska a lot over the last like basically a year after COVID. I got called up on a trip up there. It was like they got hammered by COVID. Like obviously the world did, but Alaska got super hammered because I want to say it's like 90% of their tourism is cruise ships, and cruise ships are super confined, right? Like you can't have like they were like some of the last people I think to open up, so they had no cruise ships up there for like years. Yeah, it was a big deal when they got cruises back. But when we went up there was no cruise ships. But I actually worked with Travel Alaska. There's a really great girl there named Kaylee, and she had organized just an ensemble group of influencers, a food influencer, a family influencer, and I was kind of the landscape drone guy.
Yep.
Thinking like, cool, I'm going to Alaska, I'll never come back here again, and then like had so much fun. Like I have great friends from up there. There's a guy, Ben, that I still talk to. Like all the people that work for the tourism boards are amazing. I remember I got back and they were so happy with the work that I did. They're like, hey, do you want to come back up in a month? We need more. So I went back up, and now I've been up maybe like 6 times. So it's like the kind of exact opposite of my normal stuff, but going to Alaska and being like in the deep wilderness and sea life, like amazing animals. Like I think last time I was up there, we got to see orcas every single day, which is, even for up there, is don't count on it, but like we'll take our those blessings. And then on the last trip I went up, I actually brought Kyle as my +1, I say, but like he came up as an influencer kind of with me. He left 5 days into the trip, and then my wife and Noah got to come up, and that was kind of their first time coming up there. So I got to mix a little bit of work with like some fun travel. Noah got to fish, got to catch fish, and then we got to see bears every single day, and so cool. Cool. Like, such a cool place to be up there with the kids. So Bahamas, and the exact opposite, like Alaska. Yeah.
Down here, last month there was a bald eagle that was like here in San Juan. Yeah, which was like pretty unique, right? But I remember seeing this photo from Alaska, and it's just like hundreds of bald eagles, and talking to someone that had been up there, and they're like, oh yeah, they're kind of like your crows, like the bald eagles are just everywhere. Yeah. And so when you go to a place like that and you see the bears and you see the orcas and you see the bald eagles just everywhere, it's so cool, right?
Yeah, it's majestic. Like, the sheer amount of wilderness up there is like, I've been in some float planes and and you'll get to mountain ranges and you'll see 20 different ranges as far as you can see, and each mountain's the biggest mountain you've ever seen. And you're like, this is just
keep going to the next biggest.
It kind of makes you realize, you're like, dude, why the heck did people even like how did people come to the conclusion of like, let's establish a life here and build here? It just seems it's so brutal,
especially in the remote parts of Alaska.
I haven't even been there in the winter. Like I can't imagine. I've been to Fairbanks, Alaska, which obviously gets very cold. I was doing some like Northern Lights stuff up there, but it was like in March, April. It was kind of like shoulder season, and it was still cold. Negative degrees at night. Like, and that's pretty brutal. I think they hit -40 for a record amount this year. It was like the coldest winter ever,
So with the exposure of social media giving you visual access to so many different places, is there anywhere that's on your bucket list still that you're like, I keep seeing amazing photos of this place, I really want to go fly there?
I'd like to go to French Polynesia again, because when I went there, it was just with my wife. I surfed a bunch and did some diving, but I didn't have a drone back then. So it'd be cool to go back there, and I'd love to just go, like, the food, the people. It'd be cool to go back there with my drone. And I don't know, the Seychelles seems like something cool. I'd like to go back to Italy. I've been there, but I'd like to go back. Like, I got some cool drone stuff, but again, it was like a year into me having a drone. Like,
the Amalfi Coast is so photographic.
And I got some amazing stuff of Amalfi, but it's like on such an old drone.
Cinque Terre,
Cinque
Terre,
yeah.
Has it been fun now having a son that is getting into this and shares a love for the ocean like you do, and is starting to be interested in flying a drone, like exposing kind of the next generation to that?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I think with Noah, I don't want to force anything on him, but it's been really great that he like loves the beach. Like beach is, I think, the number one thing. Just surfing and diving, and I think just being comfortable, even around animals and stuff like that. And he totally, I mean, there's definitely times I have to push him a little bit, but he's cliff diving and, when we're in Hawaii and he's really comfortable with diving, I'm trying to teach him how to kind of like decompress and stuff and clear his ears. But like
how old? He's young though, isn't he?
He's 6. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So he loves the ocean. I think like he'll play sports and do all that stuff, but if he can be at the beach, like sliding on the sand on a boogie board and with his friends, that's like all he wants to do.
Place.
Yeah. So I think if we can do, and luckily we live in an amazing place where, I think it's I've been all over the world, and I do think like South OC, for everything we have here, even as crazy as everything is, like this is just such a cool spot to live. It's a great place to raise family. And, luckily my wife and I have been lucky enough to, we both grew up here in Laguna Hills. And when we got married, we moved to Dana Point. And then when we bought a house, we're here in San Juan. So we've been in a pretty tight triangle our whole life. And it's pretty valuable, pretty cool, and it's nice to be raising like a kid here too.
Absolutely. I think seeing you and Suze raise Noah, you guys are just amazing humans in general. But what does legacy mean to you, and what do you hope Noah kind of takes away from the amount of investment and time you guys are putting into him right now?
I feel like Suze does the brunt of the work. Like Noah loves me, like Noah loves Dad, but like if anything's wrong, like he's going to Mom. Like Mom is, obviously Noah's favorite. And I think, we're just happy to have, like, we got one kid. We're happy that he's healthy. Like, we just praise God for that. We praise God for, he's just got a good attitude. Like even this morning, I was just like walking by him. He had like one strawberry left on his plate and he like just offered it to me. And I'm like, who does, like usually people are, no, this is mine or, whatever. But yeah, he's like,
especially it sounds like he's an only child.
Yeah, he's an only child. He's like good with sharing. He's good with kids. Like he's probably overly like friendly with strangers. But I think just, I don't even know if I'm answering the question correctly, but like in terms of legacy with him, I don't know. I just hope he grows up just to be a good man. Yeah. He'll be God-fearing, like, man. And, I feel like my wife, again, is just doing a great job, with Noah. Like I help out a ton, but it's like, she's doing the work. Like she's putting him down. Like I'm able to listen in, like when she puts Noah down for bed and hearing the stories that they talk about and what all the random questions that he'll ask her. And she somehow has amazing answers. Like every night is something like insane. Like, how are computers made? And then I'm like, oh great. Like, what's my wife going to say now? Like this is
this going to be in a bedtime time frame?
I'm like, here comes like the most bullshit you've ever seen. like, and then she'll tell you like how computers are made. And I'm like, that was like pretty freaking accurate. Like, so my wife's kind of like a bit of like an encyclopedia of stuff. And she, again, every night is how are swords are made? How is this made? How are books made? And she kind of gives them like, I'm like, just make something up. I'm like, dude, she's literally Bill Nyeing it right now. And like giving him like a correct answer on how the metal's made. And then you have to extract the rare earth minerals. I'm like, okay, this is cool. So
you listen in just to learn too?
I do. I listen in. I know.
Like I've always wanted to know how swords were made too.
It sucks. It sucks. Cause
you got to come up with questions for her before you go to bed.
I know. I should ask her questions before bedtime for myself, before she tucks me in. But no, I wish I would have like recorded all her answers. It would have been like an amazing book or like an amazing little like YouTube thing. But some things are some things are great just to have for yourself.
We started because we've got this studio space now. And I'm saying this because I feel like he would be a really good candidate for this. But sit him down and interview him and get these. We've started doing that with the girls, and you know, on a more regular cadence, right? And just asking them, just riffing with them, because eventually we're gonna have this archive when, you know, they're only 6 now, but when they're 18,
that's a great
like
idea.
it's a really easy thing. So if you ever want to come in and use this, you should just sit him down, and it's really simple to operate. But it sounds like he's a really inquisitive kid anyways. It would probably be really fun just to like have him like riffing back and forth and talking about some of this stuff in a manner that you could record it.
I mean, he loves talking. Like, so yeah, that'll be good to have him on here. I know. I just signed him up too for, there's like a Junior Rangers, Jeff Corwin. It's like finding the next like little, and I signed him up for that, and not thinking much of it. And it's like, you vote, you know, and I didn't realize, I think there's like multiple rounds of voting, but he's like currently in second place in his little team. So, cause he loves, like, I think most little boys, like, again, he'd rather be climbing a tree. He'd rather be at the beach. He's asking about bugs. So it's like, but in knowing that, I'm like, ooh, like if he keeps going on, he's going to eventually have to talk to Jeff, or, you know, kind of be on camera and stuff. And he doesn't spend a ton of time doing that. Like, I'll film him, but it's nothing's ever like, hey, could you do that again? It's just, I try to just capture little moments of him just to remember. But yeah, he's such a funny little dude. Like if you meet him, you'll love him, you know? Yeah. So.
Well, hey man, this was great, and I loved getting to hear on the professional side, but also getting to talk, you know, some personal stuff, because I think you've got a really good story, and you're a really inspiring guy, and I'm just so thankful to call you a friend, and thanks for coming on today.
Appreciate it.
I think you did a great job for your first time.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, this was fun. That's
good. If there were anything, like, hopefully, and I don't know if I hit on this, but like to take away from this, like, again, I didn't come from much. I went to college, kinda. I gave it like the college try for a few years. Realized that like school just wasn't for me. I tried every different type of class. Did not know what I wanted to do. Luckily, like, nutrition industry was great. Loved helping people, and like kind of stumbled into this. Like, I hope there's like encouragement just for people to, whether it's trying new things or doing things you like, and then just like, you know, my body of work is like a bit of like an amalgamation of all the people that have invested time like in me. Like, and those are, you know, Mom did a great job as like a single parent. Dad was kind of not around, but like, these are like all the friends I've been around. Matt Morgan, right? I think he's been on the show. Like, he's helped out a ton. Guys like Kyle Huber, guys like Eric Rubens, like Chris Burkard giving me a little bit of insight here and there. Like, these are all people that have helped me figure out the way. And then a lot of it's just been sheer will of learning how to do things and flying and learning how to edit, and then also just being very stubborn. Like, luckily I like, I'm a bit of like the tortoise, and kind of like the hare and the tortoise thing. I have no problem like putting my head down and walking at a very steady pace for like a very long time until I get to like my goal. And it, like, that stuff, like, it suits me very well. And I hope like people, if you have like a goal that you're working towards, like, don't give up on it. Obviously life happens and bills happens and things like that, but hopefully you can stay focused on certain things you want to do. And if you really believe in it, like, go after it and just get it done. There's so many cool tools out there to just, like, if you want to be a photographer, a videographer, a musician, or whatever, like, you can figure it out. Like,
the barrier to entry is over the years has decreased, right?
Yeah. And, you know, lean on friends. If you have people, I think a lot more people that you might look up to are willing to help out. And I think that's kind of like the price of admission for even, you know, me now. It's like, if anyone, like, people ask, hey, can you have help with a drone, or can you teach me how to fly? And it's like, you know, if I have time, it's like, yeah, I can, like, because people did that for me. Yeah. And it's like, now this is my job, and I get to travel the world. I get to bring my family with me half the time. And I'm like a poor kid from low income housing, like, never thought I was going to ever be able to do any of that stuff. And, you know, now I am, because people invested in me, and it was like so valuable. So.
You bring up a really good point in that, oftentimes people feel like when you get into niche industries or you become really good at something that you gatekeep that, right? You know, I've built this body of work, I've built this skill set, and in order for me to remain at the top of the pyramid, I need to gatekeep other people away from that. But I think the point that you bring up, and I'm a beneficiary of this too, is like, I had the right people that did invest in me at the right times to allow me to see that, no, this is actually something I can accomplish as well.
Sure.
And it sounds like you've had some of those people in your life that have been like, we're not going to gatekeep here. Like, the tide rises together,
Sure,
right?
yeah.
This isn't about like me making it to the mountaintop, because I'll tell you what, man, the top of the mountain's lonely if you're up there alone.
Sure.
Like, we can all be up here.
Yeah.
There's enough for all of us to be up here together, you know?
Agreed. It's like my favorite quote, and I probably can't name any other ones, but it's like an African proverb. It's, you know, if you want to go far, I think, wait, let me not mess this up. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you want to skip by everyone and go around everyone and lowball and try to get a job for yourself, like, you might get it. Are you going to keep it? I think like clients are pretty smart and savvy. Like, they're going to be able to tell pretty quickly that you're conniving or whatever. And if you show up and you do really good work and you're very fair priced and, you know, you over deliver a little bit and you help clients out, they're going to realize, like, dude, you know, like, Evan's great to work with. Tim Thatch is great to work with. Seth's great to work with. Like, next time they need your skill set, they're going to reach out to you. And yeah, I mean, there's for me, I'm just like, I will never gatekeep. I'll never, you know, I'm probably bad at that stuff. I'm probably bad with my pricing sometimes. And I'm just like, whatever, this feels right. Like, I'm just going to go with it. And luckily, like, with just like the clients, it's worked out really well and helped with my career. So
does AI, and I know we're going off on another tangent.
Sure,
but,
yeah.
Does AI, do you see a world where AI disrupts your business model?
Yeah.
Or is your business model, you know, the things that I'm capturing are not, you know,
I'm probably
going to be
I'm
replaced?
probably a bit naive to that, because everything you hear is how AI is going to ruin everything, and I don't know. I just don't care. I don't know. I mean, maybe it can. You know, they'll be able to like
perfectly replicate
a shot or
yeah.
something. But I think, I don't know. I'm not worried about it. I can't control it, so I'm not going to do anything about it, and I'm just going to stay focused on what I can do it as best as possible. And I think, dude, if people are using AI drone cinematic clips over like something real, then, you know, whatever. I think most consumers, most people can see through that. I know it's going to get better. It's going to be harder to see, but if someone finds out that that's what you were using rather than a real clip, I think like very quickly people are going to be like, dude, that like lame, you know, like, and hopefully there's a bit of a bubble.
Authenticity will reign king.
Yeah. And it's hard. Like, but yeah, you see some of the stuff that comes out. I even use it. Half the time I use AI is just to like make a joke clip of like a buddy. Yeah. And then like I'll use ChatGPT here and there. But yeah, it's like other things, like I don't use it probably enough. And I don't know if that's just being stubborn and like wanting to still use some of my gray matter to kind of figure out things, figure out questions. But yeah, I'm holding off as long as I can. So yeah.
If you could pick one thing that you could improve upon your drone, I want the battery to last for 2 hours. I want the thing to be able to fly 200 miles an hour. I want the camera to be 18K. Like, what is the thing that you're like, if there was a way that they could improve it for my use case, what is the thing that drones are lacking or your drone is lacking right now that you would love to have?
It's a good question. I mean, flight time can be great. I mean, the new ones are great. Like, my drone shoots 6K 60, like 100 megapixel photos. It's got 3 different lenses that are pretty usable. Like, you know, the previous model, like I wouldn't even dare to use the zoom lenses. It just looked sketchy. But yeah, you can definitely get cinematic clips. I don't know, maybe fly faster where you can almost get like some serious FPV looks if it had some more agility to it, and the battery length. But yeah, I mean, I haven't put much thought into that. It's a good question, but
overall, the tool feels like it is fit for your needs for the most part.
Yeah, the new one is good. Hopefully, you guys have seen that with just some of the footage you had, and I feel like any of the stuff I shoot today will be very usable within like the next 5 years.
Yeah, it's kind of future proofed, right?
Yeah, as people's eyes adjust to whatever, you know, resolution, and like I feel like these will live long. Where I've looked at like the stuff from Italy, where at the time I was like, this is the best stuff I've ever had. And I look at the video now, I'm like, dude, this is grainy and not as sharp. And so I don't foresee that with this, but who knows? Maybe my eyes will be trained different, you know, in 5 years. Yeah.
All right. We're going to cut it.
Plugs. Can you plug your social website?
Sure. Yeah.
Noah's Instagram.
He's Water Droplet. No. So on Instagram, it's easy. I'm just Water Project. My website is what is it? Waterprojectphoto.com. Maybe that's that's kind of where I live.
Sounds like you use your website a lot.
Yeah, I do. It's like it's there for print sales. That's just more automated. But if you need prints, if you want like some fine art photos, just hit me up, shoot me a DM. You can email me. It's like in my Instagram bio. That's the best way. Anything that's living on my Instagram can probably be made into a custom print, for you. And I print all the way up to 40 by 60 inches. And I use a local printer here in San Juan. He rips. He has makes very good stuff. So I'm excited about that. But yeah, I'd say that's kind of the gist for me. Follow me on Instagram if you care about it. If not, no big deal.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Well, thanks again for coming on, man. It was a joy and a pleasure to have you.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it, guys.
All right.
Thanks.
Till next time.
Till next time. Where is this shot from? Is it like waist up?
It's actually all pointed at your
Oh,
crotch.
thank you.
The whole thing.
Waist up. Yeah.
You want your face? Do you want your face in the shot?
No, I was like, I just have a super nasty.
Oh, look at that toe.
I dropped a water bottle on my toenail, and I was like, I don't want it to be like right here, and people just be like, what the?
What kind of water bottle was that?
It was like a 60-ounce full water bottle. Someone had called me. I'm like trying to
like
get
one
out
of
of the
these
house
things.
to go to the beach, and it was like it landed.
Oh.
Like, dude, yeah.
So your toe will be free and clear.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Toe funk.
It's been like 4 months.
Here comes the black toe. Have you ever seen what's the one, Mr. Deeds with the black foot?
The Blackfoot. I think it's his whole foot because they're
It's the whole foot, yeah.
they're stabbing the thing
Stabs it with like the fire poker.
Yeah.